weeks. We got 2 ball games in. Guys played well. The approach was good. Obviously, we were offensive. Don't think we pitched our capability, but we have stuff to build off of.
Then looking ahead, kind of a big weekend with Mines. Mines coming off getting swept by MSU Denver, so you kind of got to expect them to be ready to play this weekend coming over here and kind of making that rivalry series.
Yeah, well, we always expect to get everybody's best, and we don't expect anything different from Colorado Mines. They're well coached and they got good personnel, so we'll expect them to be ready to play.
Questions?
So have you ever gone that deep in a game with basically 2 teams and 3 left fielders and every single guy got a hit?
I'd have to look back. I'm sure there's been a day, but we played a lot of people, and we had a lot of kids play well. We had a lot of kids get multiple hits. And so we really did both games. We more or less broke in half and got everybody at bats, including Frankie. That wasn't by design, though. I've told him we're going to have to get him 1 more at bat so we can get him off of 1,000 hitting.
With the lead that you kept building, how hard is it for guys to stay locked in? It's 26-1. And it's like we still got a couple innings left. How do you keep guys ready to go?
I think it's a leadership thing coming from the upperclassmen and the whole team. Want me to hold it up? Yeah. All right. It's a leadership thing coming down from the coaches, the upperclassmen, down to the freshmen. We each hold each other accountable, stay locked in, and ready to go.
From a pitching standpoint, it's a little different out there when you've got a huge lead, isn't it, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. I didn't go that far into the game, but I know for the guys, it's a lot more difficult when you're scoring 10 runs an inning to stay focused through that and try to stay warm. But just for me, I like to try to envision what I'm trying to do and just try to stay focused and try to go out there with the mentality that it's still a 0-0 game.
And those things where you almost have to go into the bullpen and throw a little bit.
Exactly, and just distance yourself if necessary, just to not get too high, or just try to stay in that middle ground so you don't get too overwhelmed by what's actually happening on the offensive side.
So, Coach, you kind of talked about the depth in preseason, I think, a little bit. Does this kind of just reaffirm what you already knew, or from a coaching perspective, what's that say about the team?
Well, it means it's hard to get a lot of people playing time that you want to get playing time to. I do think we're too deep. I think we can roll 2 clubs out there that'll be highly, highly competitive. And for the guys that, at least initially or at any point in time, are not getting to play, that's a challenge for them to remain engaged and keep a great attitude, which, we really work hard at promoting that and making sure they see the big picture. But we do have some depth, and that's a whole nother management thing of managing people.
See, the way, the tear that Hayden's on right now, it's just like, okay, how many RBIs did he have today? And, Stubbs has gotten going, now, and it's just, looks like up and down the lineup, and just trying to keep them as hot as you can.
Yeah, and the thing about hitting is, it comes and goes a little bit. It's a little bit dependent on any given day, on the pitcher on the mound and the conditions at hand, maybe even an umpire. But, the kids, whether they're high or low, we talk to them about being in the middle and not spending very much time on the high end or the low end. And, if a guy's really struggling or he's really out of sorts, that's where our 2 deep comes into play. We can give another guy an opportunity, and we've challenged these guys to try to understand that if you get removed from a game, we're just trying to win. And sometimes that 1 or 2 people that you make a change with can create a spark. And so there may be a time we need to do that.
Ryan is the latest in the legacy of the family, you knew you were going to end up here eventually, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So it just, one of those, you kind of feed off of
Yeah,
what else has happened in your family over here?
Yeah, it's super cool to just be a part of the legacy that has been built at CMU, and just trying to keep that day name going and try to I mean, obviously want to contribute to this team and bring the best that I can to this team and help improve and play my role, whatever that is. But as well, just keep that day name kind of going as much as I can as well. And just, I love being here. It's great to follow that kind of day legacy, I suppose.
Your first start, I mean, it was just, you were dealing pretty good. And usually early on in the season, you're not gonna see somebody go 9.
Mm.
But, you know, the way you were handling pitches,
Thank you. Yeah.
everything just worked and.
Yeah, everything was feeling really good. I mean, Skip kept on asking me if I was good to go, and my arm felt good, and I was getting up in the count most of the time, which I think that helps. It helps you stay effective. So I mean, I felt comfortable, and I knew that guys would be making plays behind me, and so I didn't really have to put too much stress on myself. I just knew if I could make the pitches and keep on trying to stay on the corners rather than down the middle, that hopefully I would get weak contact. So. Just
Who
gonna,
gets more nervous when you pitch, mom or dad?
probably mom. Yeah.
Anything good?
That's good.
All right, question of the week. Other than baseball, what's your favorite sport and why?
You have two.
Football. Football, because I grew up with it. My dad was a high school football coach. He was my coach. So football without question.
I'm gonna go with basketball. They're just athletic. They're freaks of nature. It's cool to watch.
I agree. I love watching basketball and shooting hoops. It's one of my favorites. I also like playing volleyball. I like jumping.